Only toes.
Oh.
$1 million idea right there.
No.
$1 million idea. Only toes.
Hey, I had somebody tell me, they said if you don't want to like be like, showing your body, is it bad if you just were in one where it was just feet?
Yeah.
And you paid off your house?
I'd be fine with that. Welcome to Mind Your Own Small Business, the podcast that's better than a coffee break and cheaper than therapy. I'm Brian.
And I'm Thomas Scott.
I'm pepperoni.
Tony.
No!
It's just pepperoni.
Just pepperoni.
When did you lose the Tony?
Forever ago. It's always been pepperoni. No, that's not true.
Okay. I was like,
It's all right. It's always been Caitlin, so we're good.
Oh, man.
No, pepperoni Tony. It's fine.
That's what we always called you, so.
That's right. That'll work.
I never called him that.
All right, that's fine. So, China.
So, China.
China.
So I was thinking that we would change this a little wider to like supply chain and like
Singapore
product.
or...
No, like supply chain.
Oh, not
things.
geographically wider. I got you. All right.
Okay. Just the subject matter. So I'm actually interested to know what you guys have to say on this subject.
I think prime us with a question. Let's put a question on the table first. Since
You're the one that picked the topic.
I did
today.
pick the topic.
So
yes.
you got to prime us with a question.
Yeah, you got to throw out the question.
Okay. Initially, you guys know that I've been following Peter Zay. Every time I hear it, it's pronounced differently. Zayan, Zayan.
How does he pronounce it?
I've heard him pronounce it 3 different ways.
That's not. No way.
So
he pronounces his own last name 3 different ways.
I've heard him pronounce it more like a Zayan, and I've heard it a Zion.
My dad changed the pronunciation of his name halfway through because he thought it would help him. So we go by Thackeray, but there's an AY at the end of our name. So in order to confuse people, he changed it to Thackeray, and that's how he pronounced his name for like 15 years. And then he's like, "This is dumb," and he went back to Thackeray. So
Thackeray?
Yeah. So for spelling, they're like, "My name's Greg Thackeray," and so that way they knew that it was AY at the end. And so because when you say Thackeray, they think Zachary with a lisp. But the thing is that they just keep on forgetting the AY. So, anyways.
Well,
I've never had
Senior
that problem.
Thackeray, we salute you.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I've heard it pronounced different ways, and even like I said, even by him, I've heard him put different accents on his last name.
I think that's strange.
So if you're watching, big fan, but I have no idea how to pronounce your name.
Huge fan, but your last name.
I watched his Joe Rogan.
Totally out of it.
That was about it.
That's what got me started. So a lot of what I'm kind of following is on that. There was another individual that I've been listening to. Is it daily? I'm not sure. I'll get it later. I'll look at it and I'll just pop in and interject in the middle. But essentially, the idea that China, first of all, we had this massive problem, right? Because COVID happened over. And COVID was. Am I still too loud? Am I still?
No, I'm making an
adjusting.
adjustment so that you can sound the best that you can.
Oh,
I'm here to make
thanks.
you be the best you. Anyway, so China.
It is cheaper than therapy. So, we've become so used to China being the factory of the world, right? And so a lot of our items were all made. Overseas. Now we have contacts that are in Mexico and Brazil and Bangladesh and other locations. Ohio, some of our stuff is made stateside. But China just has this corner on the market. They have a really, really great in the sandal industry. They've been a great partner to work with. So when COVID happened and all of a sudden it was very difficult to get ships into port, and we just had this big thing in ships that used to cost, $3,000-$4,000 a container, went up to like $20,000. I think our most expensive container that was like $32,000. That in the past it cost us maybe $7,000 to bring it up to us, product in hand, and so it caused this big rift, right? And then it has all of us kind of questioning, well, what is happening with China? And then if you look at some of the Peter Zayan,
Peter Z.
Pete Z,
your homeboy,
my internet homeboy, my internet
man crush.
Oh, absolutely. He's grown his hair all out long. But no, he talks about the population decline and how the cost of labor in China is going up, and so you're looking at this over the next 10 years and going, is this a sustainable model to continue to use China as a factory? And if we're not, what does that look like? Do we move everything stateside? Because a lot of the stuff that's done in China, here in the United States, a lot of regulations actually stop us from doing it. A lot of plastics and a lot of just because of the way that the manufacturing is.
Yeah, you don't want change to derail and dump a bunch of toxic chemicals all over the
Well,
place.
yeah, because that's what is it? Vinyl
I don't remember what it is.
PVC vinyl chloride, and that's
Yeah.
why they mix it with poly. But it's basically those were components of plastics, or PVC. So yeah, so there's we've kind of outsourced everything, and so there's talk of Mexico, and we'll probably dig into that a little bit more as the country that's closest to the United States. It's going to work really well for using labor. You say, well, why don't you keep it in America? Well, we currently have one of the lowest unemployment rates in for a long time, and so to try and say, okay, we're going to get a group of people that's going to help by punching holes and making sandals. I don't know if you'll see that. Most
People don't go to college for that.
no, you don't. But emerging countries and second into first world countries have population bases that they can be great jobs and provide great benefits. I mentioned that we have some of our products made in Mexico, and we visited the factory, and it was fantastic.
It was awesome.
It was really, really cool. Down to food and they took care of those that were working inside the factory, and it was really neat. And I know that's not the case everywhere, obviously, but so yeah, I guess that's kind of the leap on it is it still cost effective to have stuff made on the other side of the Pacific Ocean and boat it across for us Americans to consume?
Isn't that one of the main reasons that like Amazon's having such a hard time right now is because people are shifting away from that, and so their main like revenue source for the people who would import from China, like that's cut down substantially because of the increase of shipping costs, etc. And so not as many people are using the platform, or is that a bigger issue in general?
I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, take the Amazon portion of it.
I think Amazon is if they are struggling in that area, it's not because of what's been able to be sold. I think that you are finding less and less U.S. based sellers having a product on Amazon, and more Chinese listings that those products are being imported in by
Directly.
Chinese manufacturers directly
okay.
to Amazon. I think that as a U.S. seller on Amazon, it's incredibly hard. Well, not incredibly hard. I mean, people still do it, and people can earn good money. I think it's going to get increasingly difficult to set yourself apart from those manufacturers or those listings and price. Essentially, I think it's going to be a race to the bottom as far as.
Which is great for you as a consumer, but as a seller, that
It's hard.
it sucks.
Yeah, I mean, you bring your stuff in, and you know that in order to sell this, I have to at least get X out of this product. And if a Chinese seller comes in, even 2 cents under, and you're like, that was my absolute rock bottom price, I can't go under that, you will lose the momentum on that listing. You won't be able to gain any sales.
Yeah, but even on that note, so like I sold those minimalist wallets,
Yeah.
which are essentially Ridge wallets. Like they have a couple of different.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. I can't even sell them right now because they took out my listing because I sold in the UK and they took over the copyright there and just nuked it. Even though I could have just removed it from that country,
I was
but
gonna say, just don't sell in the UK.
yeah, but they told me that I can't relist that product. Like I can't recreate the listing.
Yeah.
So unless I create a new sales channel or anyways, so now I have a bunch of wallets I can't sell. But like that wallet
On
is
clearance now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want 1,600 wallets, start a business. Contact me. Mind your own small business P at gmail.com. Oh no, it's mind your own small B at gmail.com. Hit me up and I'll sell you
I'm
wallets.
sorry.
Great deal.
What is the email address?
Mind your own small b, the letter B. So
B.
Mind your own small b
yeah,
at gmail.com.
so someone took that Gmail, but then everything else was available. So like we got the YouTube channel.
We should build a
and all that.
website.
Eventually, you could do that if you want to. You can do that if you
I
Yeah.
don't know how to do that.
anyone
I'm on
can do it.
I'm on it.
Not anyone.
Anyone.
No, that's false. Not anyone can do it.
No, anyone at this table.
I guess.
But what I was saying is that those wallets sell anywhere from like $5 to Ridge Wallet, who sells theirs for $90.
I was gonna say, don't they sell for around $100?
Yeah, and so it's all the same wallet, and that's the one thing that like just like floors me. Now, to be fair, the reason why Ridge Wallet is successful is because they charge you $90, they pocket 20, and then they spend 70 on advertising,
Right, the
or
cost of acquisition is
something like
crazy.
that. And so they're sending 100 wallets to I think his name's Edward Sarkisian, who shot them to see how bulletproof they were, or he sent they send them out to everyone.
Yeah, they're playing the influencer game.
Yeah.
They're just throwing it out, throwing it at the wall, see what sticks.
Yeah, and it works. And it's funny because people are like, oh, that's how much those wallets do. And then you do just an iota of research and you're like, oh, hey, like they're running 98% profit on their product.
So I wonder if going forward, if you have a product that you are selling, if you don't have a social media influence, regardless of the platform, if you are not on social media, I think it's going to be that much harder to sell on Amazon in order to get yourself above, or like a Ridge Wallet. The reason they're successful is because they've put themselves out there and they're able to get the traction based off of the spend that they have on social media.
And they have their own website and they have all their own platforms. They just know that is another one where people like, oh, hey, I need a wallet. I just watched a Ridge Wallet commercial, so I'll pop it in there. So, but yeah, it's that to me, the whole like import from China thing in general is fascinating. Because, like, people don't know that you can just go onto Alibaba and search for, like, 90% of the stuff on Amazon and buy samples for, like, a third or less of the price that you would price. To be fair, you have to wait a month to get the sample, and it might have someone else's logo on it.
Or, yeah, I was going to say, or the product is going to have tweaks. I mean, not everything is...
Yeah, samples aren't necessarily the cream of the crop, and that's the reason why they're giving it as samples. But
Anything. So I'm gonna kind of play devil's advocate on this one a little bit because so here's kind of the challenge. So
Yes.
we're talking about the Ridge Wallet thing,
Yes.
and you're saying okay, like Ridge Wallet is spending it on the advertising and when
or
you're
infrastructure,
buying,
whatever it is.
When you're buying from Ridge, they have established themselves in a particular space that they can trust. You know, the people are saying, well, yeah, it's a Ridge. The same reason that you go buy a pair of shoes for $30 at Payless, you could buy a pair of shoes for $180 from Nike, from a Nike store, and you're going, well, they could be the same bones. But that's the thing, is that they could be, but you're not guaranteed that they are. And so, you know, you're saying, well, you come in with a Ridge Wallet, and what obviously happened is Ridge Wallet developed what they developed. They said this is the Ridge. If they did the original development, which arguably could have been a white label.
Sure, absolutely.
And they were just the ones that took it that far. But let's say they developed.
Pause real quick. What's a white label?
Oh, yes. So a white label for all our listeners involved, a white label would be like this. So over here on the corner, there is a mixer. Okay, you can see there's a mixer here on the edge. It has someone's label on it. Well, that's leaving somebody's, that's leaving a factory, okay? So if you got a hold of that same factory and they said, hey, I want to start bringing in that exact same setup, that factory would be like, yeah, sure, we will, and we're going to put someone else's label on it. Or, you know, you put your own label on it. So essentially this is a pile, not sponsored, but someone comes in and says, okay, mine is called Audio Deluxe, and they can charge an extra whatever they want on it. Maybe the color dials are slightly different or something to give you some differentiation. And that's a white label. You didn't invent the product. You didn't go out there and spend the time developing it, you say, hey, I found somebody that is already developing this product. And sometimes it's, people do that all the time on Amazon product development, but in a grander scheme than that is you can go to, let's say you go to another country and you find a product that's really, really cool. Let's say a broom that's just fantastic, that's made by someone in that country. And you say, I want to import that broom that isn't being made in the United States, but I'm not developing the product. I'm just saying, I'm going to take it, I'm going to put my own private label on it, and then I'm going to move it into this new market. Because
brooms are known for being really cool.
Oh yeah, well I don't know. Let's
Have you ever
No.
yeah. Let's say you're sitting there using you go to India and you find that they have a broom there that is a vacuum that at the same time. So as you're sweeping as you're brooming things along, then it's actually pulling all the stuff and cleaning it out. And anyway, whatever it is, okay. But that's what a white label is. So, but for example, so I'm a fan of Shocks. They have the little bone conduction headphones. And there are lots of other bone conduction companies that sit there and do it and make it. But I knew that when I bought the more expensive Shocks brand, that I was getting the quality that's in theory behind that. And I've been very, very happy. Now, could I have spent $25 instead of $160 on something off of, Temu or Wish or eBay or whatever and gotten a comparable? Yes, I could have, but it's kind of a roll of the dice unless I know somebody.
It is. But the thing is that like my whole life, that has been like my recourse. So that's how I've been able to live life so cheaply, is that like I will find the expensive thing, I will find the white label version of it, and then the person who sells it the least. And that way I'm getting something that is the equivalent of something that costs 3, 4, 5, 10 times as much for as half. And that's how I've been able to survive on such a small budget. And if you have the money to do that, if you want to spend the money for security, that you know that what you're going to buy is a great one, like take, using this example, most of like Walmart brand, like Hyper Tough and whatnot, that's white label stuff.
It's absolutely
100%.
Like you can find those things in different colors at different stores that have different names. But the reason I bring that up is that if you got a Makita, it might last you 3 times as long, but it costs 5 times as much, which means I can buy 3 Hyper Toughs or more for the price of one Makita. So why do I would happily buy 3 drills and have them in my house, and when one breaks, just throw it in the trash and pick up another one, than to spend 6 times as much on a Makita drill that it'll work for ever, or it'll work 15 years or whatever, how many years, but I don't know.
Now you're getting into the power of a brand.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And
so
the
if you
loyalty that comes with that,
but the thing is that I don't know how to say this. I'm very disloyal. I just care about saving money, which.
Well, no, I don't think that makes you disloyal. I think that is that's where your priority's at. My family, we have a saying. It always comes down to time or money, and so in our boat, it's either is it more expensive to fly to visit family? It is, but it sure is a heck of a lot more convenient.
Oh yeah,
right. And so then it's this take. It's like, do you want to spend more money to have the convenience? Is the convenience worth not having as much money? And so I think that's where it comes down to is this, as that's my own viewpoint, but essentially that is what, for me, I would hate to have to go to the store 3 times to buy the same essentially tool, and I would just rather buy the name brand so that I could have the reliability of it.
Even if those 3 times are over the course of 15 years or something like that.
Yeah.
But just that thought of potentially having to do that makes it.
For me, there's value in not having to go and buy the same.
Not
tool.
have to worry about that. Okay.
So as I come back to the devil's advocate, something to you could argue that the mindset that you have is actually part of the problem. And so so
I'm the problem.
Excellent.
I said part of the problem.
Nope, totally.
Because
Let's
here's
sign it.
so here's it's the Harbor Freight model,
Reverse
right?
therapy. Make me feel like trash, and you. This is great. No,
Cheaper.
The Harbor Freight. I love Harbor Freight. I spend a lot of time at Harbor Freight.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to Harbor Freight on the way home to buy zip ties. But
And that's true. And the zip ties, arguably zip ties are more of a commodity, right? There's not
Yeah.
a zip tie brand that you're following, and you're like, I have to have my zip tie brand.
Says you.
My apologies to all the zip tie
Fans out there.
that are
Aficionados.
like, I use real Kleenex and I use real zip ties.
I was gonna say,
None of this facial tissue.
no, exactly. So, side note, real quick, is it a Kleenex when you're going to the store, or do you say I'm going to get face tissue?
No, it's Kleenex.
it's Kleenex. But
Absolutely.
they've bought the market share. Like everyone, when you think of tissues, you think of Kleenex because they are so synonymous.
Whoa! Now we're making up words.
I love synonym. That's my favorite flavor.
With the brand. Synonymous. That's the word.
It
Synonymous.
is. You got it. All right, I'm sorry, I derailed you. Go ahead.
But yeah, but you said I'm the problem.
Yeah, you are.
And while you explain why I'm the problem, I'm gonna go grab my drink real quick.
Well, you're not even going to listen to me while I'm telling
You're
you the
leaving
problem?
the
You're right. I'm going so far away.
leaving the field.
It's in that box. It's right there.
For our viewers, there's no box. He's just leaving us.
It's like he's going
ditching us.
over there. No, so yeah, part of because if you think about the problem as this, so let's say that you are as an American company, you're building something that is your own. So let's start with okay. I need to talk about something I know, so I can't talk about Makita because I don't know the inner workings of drills. But we'll go to Ridge Wallet. Okay, let's say Ridge Wallet really did invent the Ridge Wallet. Okay, they went through all the R&D, they went through all the pieces, and they said this is now. Doggone it,
You hit it.
I did. Just
We should have a
smacked it.
counter. A counter on, yeah. Anyway.
So let's say that Ridgewell invented. They said, okay, they went through all the R&D, they tried all the different things, and they said, here we are, here it is. And then because IP is not sacred at all on offshore, on many, sorry, not all, but many offshore factories, they bring it in. And I've been in, we've been in
Let's say boat.
it's in the same boat. We once we developed something with somebody, and then next thing we know, we're at a trade show the next year, and our logo is like on the thing that's like, we can make the stuff just like we did for Kayak Outfitters. And I'm like, well, that's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
Cool.
they're sending, it was a kind of,
It was
I felt
pretty
like some
cool.
clout. But at the same time, they're also, I'm always looking for more things. And so when they get a sample that says some other brand, but I won't say, on the bottom of it, and it's like, oh, interesting, they're giving away someone else's trade secret. So, but Ridge Wallet is now sitting there. They came into the market. They're charging what they're charging. Being in as an American company, they put all the R&D. For all we know, they could have spent $3 million on development. I have no idea what they spent.
Sure.
And now all of a sudden you're like, well, but you can buy this for $15 because all they did was they took all that R&D that they spent all their time on, and someone else released it, and it's identical in every visually identical, and then that's it. And you also have to think about emerging technologies. Things like the bone conduction stuff. This is fairly new. This is last 5 years that's really come out and been big.
Especially that size.
Especially the size. Yeah, you look at a lot of the competitors, and they're
They're
much
bigger.
larger.
Yeah, their drivers are much larger. I have a pair because I was looking into selling them, and their barrier to entry is a little higher than I was looking to get into.
So
That was back when I didn't have money,
But
so.
long-term technology like a drill, it's kind of been around long enough that you're not stepping on as many toes.
Yeah, you're not stealing anything new because
But if we release a sandal, so let's say, because we've got one in the pipeline right now that we want to release, and it's unique to us. So let's say we release that sandal. It has some uniquities on it that are cool, if uniquity is a word.
Ooh, man, you said that, and I was like, that's a sweet word.
I know, uniquities.
That's what it's called. It's called the uniquity.
unique equities, unique equity and uniqueness.
Unique pieces, unique. So it has those uniquities. So,
But okay, counterpoint to your counterpoint.
hang on, let me finish my
okay,
thought.
Finish
my thought,
and then I'm
so now
hitting the buzzer.
So now I have this product, and while we're trying to get it off the ground, right? Let's say we're $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 down this road, and then all of a sudden a Chinese company or an offshore company comes in, says, "Oh, we're going to make that same thing," and you can't go and run any sort of IP on it because it's an offshore. Yeah, you can say, well, you can run that. They
You
don't
can't
care.
sell it in the United States because XYZ, but then they could still sell it in other markets.
Or they make an adjustment, and it's like, oh, but look, it's different enough. And then
Yeah.
so now we spent all of the effort to go forward with it, and now a different company is coming in because of, hey, I want to buy something that's cheaper, so you go and buy the knockoff instead of buying. I mean, knockoffs have been around since the dawn of time.
Yeah.
But
Lures and jigs are.
that's what I mean. That
Fishing lures. They're knockoffs of real things, and you catch fish with them.
that's true. Or come on, Adam and Eve, right? You thought that tree was good? Psych. That was a pseudo good tasting tree.
All right. So what's your counterpoint to the counterpoint?
Yes, counter my counter.
But like, if that IP is that important to you, and you do know that there are factories that have reputations of stealing IP, then you just got to produce everything in house. But I understand. I already know the counter argument to that right off the bat is that if you're a small business that
counters.
doesn't have a manufacturing facilities
Or a legal team.
or a legal team in order to do that, then you're fighting an uphill battle. So you have these factories that allow smaller people who don't have the warehouses and the factories and whatnot to do all of that to then grow. But the counterpoint is you're potentially making a deal with the devil, who's going to be like, yes, I'll make that for you, but then I will also make it for myself and sell it for cheaper. And so oh man, that is a hard situation.
I think that's why.
That was amazing. Hey,
Yeah,
I
that
would tell you
was pretty good.
Because you're absolutely right. When we would go to trade shows we look at and they say, hey, we make these for these other companies. They have a low MOQ because they're already manufacturing those, and some of them we're making them for India or making them for Serbia, and they're not in the United States.
Not
And
in
so
the
we would
States.
get the contract for the United States. And I've talked about that before. That I think that's a really fantastic way of doing things. But anyway, you are right. You're absolutely right that it can help the small guys through kind of piracy.
Yeah, I was gonna say it gets into this. This is actually a great lead into the point that I was gonna make that I forgot, but now I remembered. Well done. Is I think as the little guy, you get comfortable with this idea that let's stay on this drill tangent. If take the flow of sales and make that analogy as a river, right? You have this other guy that comes in and says, I want to get in on this flow of.
I want to make about $3,000 a month.
I want to make $3,000 a month off of these drills. And what you're introducing isn't anything that's revolutionary. It's not a game changer, and it's just different enough. And so you're okay with kind of entering into this river, this flow of sales, and just siphoning off just a little bit because you're okay with the $3,000 a month. I think now the idea to create something that's never been done before or that doesn't exist or is completely revolutionary is truly and to the definition of $1 million idea. I think that is so unique for somebody to come up with something that has never been done, never been tested, never been seen. And I think you're gonna start seeing fewer and fewer and fewer of those 1 in a million ideas.
Hang on, yeah.
I don't know if I
wondering-
agree with that, because I think where those $1 million ideas are going to change, because we talk AI is a $1 million idea,
Right.
but that's because the goals moved.
But how many things are how many things are gonna come up that are like, I've never seen that before? You mentioned AI. That's one thing.
But so my thing is that I think it has to do with the you have to go with the cutting edge of technology and progression. The thing is that 3D printing houses is new and potentially $1 million idea, but when it comes to building a new form of wood or traditional construction home, I don't think we're going to see much innovation there. Maybe a change in material, which will happen because chemistry will evolve to a point where we can then make those changes.
I'm very confused because it sounds like you're agreeing with me.
That's
exactly what I just said.
But
Maybe that's I'll say that is exactly what I just thought.
Okay.
Whether or not I conveyed that could be a totally different thing.
What I was saying is that it's not that million ideas are going to be less. It's that the areas in which they happen progresses. I don't think someone's going to come with $1 million wallet idea. Like,
Okay,
I
right.
think all wallets are going to be variations of existing wallets. Like,
Yeah.
it might be semi-unique, but like, a wallet is essentially a material that holds your crap in your pockets. Like
True.
that's
Well,
what it
until
is.
we don't have crap to hold in our pockets anymore.
Ooh, that's interesting.
So yeah, I guess
mean, 'cause
how
you
how
could
many
argue the
wheels
wallet-
can be invented going forward? How many more wheels?
Well, that's a wallet right there now.
True.
Is it not?
And that'll eventually, I believe that in the not too distant future, like in our lives or our kids' lives, like that will be everything that you
They're
have.
pointing to a phone made
Yes.
by
So
a
for the audio people, we're talking about
sorry.
I would
company.
I would even say that the way that we know this phone
what might
is going to
change.
completely change. Because I mean, you think about just in the last 20 years, what did your phone look like when you were in 2003?
You flip
was
It was either a flip
What,
phone or it was
2003. It was a brick.
It
was
did
the
not exist.
It was a Nokia brick.
Nokia bricks.
I didn't own my first phone until I got home. So that would have been when I was 23. That would have been 2008 is when I got my first phone. So
Okay, I want to branch off of this and then talk about because I agree, but I think that we've stagnated on new ideas over the last period of time because of the fall. So
the fall of what?
the following, sorry,
The following.
Yeah, the following. So first of all,
The rise
it's
of
very
NPCs.
it can be very easy to create new things and be risky when capital is cheap.
Yeah,
Okay?
absolutely.
So capital has been very, very cheap. So you're seeing a lot of maybe not fully innovative, but you've been seeing things emerge. Like, here's this wallet, or even looking at
The Shark Tank idea. You
Yeah.
have rich people with lots of money who are like, I want to make more money. So approach me with an idea. I will give you 100,000, 200,000, $2
the
million.
free flow of capital. So this is also coming back to Pete Z and a little bit of what he talked about, but
She's not dead.
essentially, it's a little Zorro.
I don't know how to
that
reverse
Z.
that action. Take it back.
But when capital was cheap, like 3% interest rates, lots of lending, you could take risks, and there was people there to do it. Well, first of all, our baby boomers that have a lot of money that have been investing in more risky items, as they retire, they want to move their money into more secure things, which means that the secure things are things that work. We are seeing that. We are honing. We had all these new ideas of sandals. We cut a lot of them off and said, because we had to. And we said, okay, what items make us the money?
What works?
Innovation contracted because we had to contract because cost of capital, 7, 8, 9% to sit there and come up with a brand new idea. There's no way. Versus, that these are something that's doing well. You're going to keep on that path. And so I think that that's going to hurt new ideas. I think that in the past you've seen kind of these new ideas, but we've all kind of been the same. I do think that AI has been a change. I think that a major shift. Same with cryptocurrency has been a major shift. But yes, the phone has improved, but that look of the phone, the first iPhone came out in. Come on.
I don't know. I'm not.
It was early 2000s.
I'm going to say 2007.
Yeah, let's go.
Listeners, I'm going
guess.
to say
Comment below,
2004.
and we'll never see it.
I thought that. I'll see it. I respond to comments. I swear it came out.
Ooh! June 29th, 2007.
7.
Suck it, Trebek.
It came out 2 years after I graduated. Yeah, that one works.
Yeah, see? From high school?
Yeah, I graduated in 2005.
2023.
Wow. Well,
So-
I know that you've been out of school for 20 years. Almost.
18.
The iPhone, math is hard. The iPhone
That's when I got married.
has been around in the format, right? The block format, this format of we just have a little stick, piece of, digital paper that we hold to our ears.
Exactly.
has been out.
Thickness and height, all of that aside, it's been that shape.
It's relatively 2007. And before that, I think the iPod was before that even, because all they did with the iPhone was
sure.
take that shape and turn it into a phone.
A little bit. But they had the original scroll
Yeah, gosh, I
wheel.
loved that.
Oh, the scroll wheel?
I
Is that
had
not
I have a,
therapeutic or what?
so good. And it was haptic feedback. And
I remember.
so good.
I remember my first
Heavy.
iPod Mini.
I just
Oh,
loved
that
how
thing was a
heavy they were.
brick.
I love
it was thick and.
But yeah, man. But it's yeah, it's crazy. That to me, like, because you had things like the Palm Pilot and you had the BlackBerry, but it all had full keyboards on them.
Yep.
Because people are like,
And styluses, right? That was Jobs'
Yeah.
big
you want to
thing in
get
that.
rid of styluses.
I have a finger.
I got my stylus right here.
That was the best Steve Jobs impression apparently you'll ever get.
Turtleneck.
But yeah, so it's been 16 years. And yeah, has it improved? Yes, the cameras have improved and the storage has improved and the service has improved and so a lot of the things around it, but we still hold this little brick thing to our ear, or we don't. We put on a headset or AirPods or whatever.
Yeah, but what we do with the funny thing to me is that because headsets used to be something that just like douchey day traders used for a long time, and then like no one used it because it gained that thing, and then Apple released their little AirPods, and now everyone uses them.
Now it's a great deterrent. If you see somebody in the store, you put those in and you can fake a phone call so you don't have to talk to them.
Or you can fake being sane and just talk to your voices in public and no one thinks anything. You just put one in and you're like, no, I'm not going to stab them in the face. And you're like, they don't even say anything.
Well, it's escalated really fast.
No.
Yeah, that went dark
just went-
fast. Thanks, Brian.
So on that note, though,
Okay, hang on. Yeah, on that note, what? Murder?
No. I was taking out my garbage at 2 a.m. Insomnia, it's a thing. I was taking out my garbage while some college girl was walking down the street, and it was funny because I was walking. Now I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt, and I'm barefoot, and there's snow on the ground because
it's Montana.
yeah, it's Montana. And she stops talking and is just glancing at me, and she's like, "I'm not talking because there's someone else on the road," and and I was like, "I don't mean to be
I live here.
It is currently 5 degrees, and I'm wearing shorts and a T-shirt. I obviously live close, or I would be dead. But also, if I was a 18 to 20-something-year-old woman seeing a grown man walking around barefoot in the snow, I might also think that he has something wrong in his head. So,
With your scraggly beard.
yeah,
looking homeless. No, you don't look homeless now. I'm saying in shorts, you probably looked homeless.
I probably looked homeless. I look homeless now. I actually get a haircut after this podcast today.
Who's your haircut being done by? Sponsored by?
Paul Mitchell Hair Academy.
TM.
See?
Talking about IP.
I have their
wow.
their VIP membership, so I pay $50 and I get a year's of haircuts. So it's pretty nice.
I don't believe in that.
That's fine.
Because branding.
Yeah.
'Cause
Time
You will
over
pay
money.
You will pay them more for a brand that you trust.
I was gonna say the loyalty. Loyalty's huge with me. I'm a big.
Once again,
Loyalty
no
per-
loyalty. I don't care at all.
You're going to sit down, and if they've only had scissors in their hand for 3 weeks, you say, "I don't care."
Yeah, bring it on.
Down.
Why do you have all these nicks on your fingers? That's weird.
it'll be fine. It'll be fine. What's that?
I call them my Stevie Nicks.
Is that a collection of ears? What happened?
What's the difference between a good
What are
haircut
you,
and a
Mike
bad
Tyson?
haircut?
What do I classify as a good
No.
haircut?
What's the difference between a good haircut and a bad haircut?
One that looks like
I got
2
an
weeks.
array of.
2 weeks.
I thought he was really asking. I was getting ready to. I was like, this is actually something that I'm passionate
I
about.
mean, if you want to go in, what's the difference between a
No,
haircut
it's
and a
not
haircut?
relevant anymore.
But yeah, no, yeah.
It's kind of like the difference between the truth and a conspiracy theory. It's about 6 months.
Oh, yikes. So,
You
okay.
left your tinfoil hat.
Yeah, it's right there. So, going back to.
It doesn't fit over my flume today.
That is.
I
was
know.
gonna say
It's
something.
quite the flume.
That is.
That is.
a statement.
That's like
Johnny
Bravo. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I was thinking.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm willing it to happen. This morning I was looking. There were some flights on sale to go down to Venice Beach, and so after looking at all these flights and dreaming of being someplace warm, I threw on my like Hawaiian-y, not really Hawaiian-y shirt, and I left my hair like this.
I was gonna say, if that's what you think classifies as a Hawaiian shirt, I'm buying you a Hawaiian shirt for your birthday.
No,
I'm
no,
gonna buy a Hawaiian shirt when I go to Hawaii.
In Hawaii?
Yeah.
No, don't do that. Buy it on Amazon from a Chinese seller.
Hang on.
Go back to our roots.
Yeah, we're talking to someone who's like, well, I don't have loyalty,
Yeah.
so go buy a cheap one because when you go there, it's gonna be 3 times as much.
It's gonna be a $45 Hawaiian
Because what they did
shirt.
was they shipped it to the United States and they shipped it to Hawaii so that you
Which
could
costs
go,
a lot of
which
money.
is still part of the United States. But
Did you know that in Hawaii the soda cans
Are shaped differently.
Are shaped differently.
I don't know why.
I do know why.
Do they buy them from like a different country?
Indonesia?
They're okay. So it goes back. It goes back a ways, and I'm gonna murder this a little bit.
Okay.
But basically, the way cans were made, the rest of the world was able to shrink that like 2 millimeters off of the top and make the can that we know today. But Hawaii, the manufacturers that are either on the island or the person that they get their stuff from has never made that adjustment, and so that's why they're different. They're
Interesting.
raised. They have some ribs on the top.
I saw
opposed
that
to the
video.
bottom.
I never cared enough to click on it.
How dare you?
I've
no,
seen that clickbait.
no loyalty.
No,
I've seen that clickbait, but I never clicked on it.
I'm a clickbaiter.
I almost did.
I'm a master clickbaiter. I know you should laugh at your own jokes.
Okay, bird.
I thought Thomas was supposed to be the inappropriate one. Oh, my mom's gonna throw a fit. She's not gonna like that one bit.
Woo! That was pretty funny. So yeah, wait, no. But the reason why I buy the expensive Hawaiian shirt is because it's not. I'm an experienced person.
Yeah.
I gotta let him.
I'm sorry.
Just let him breathe.
I told the joke.
He's still not done.
Okay, I can. Ooh, killing kittens. Okay. Woo. You guys tell me you don't have a way to like stop yourself and be serious?
You just think of
Nope.
Murdering kittens.
you just made yourself laugh again.
All right.
That reminds me of a joke I told not too the last weekend for an MC gig that I was at.
Oh my gosh.
Fun.
That was
I
awesome.
tell that we bought some property by the river, and my kids were trying to. Inflation's pretty high, so I said, well, I need to make sure that I try and figure out a way to feed them. So we decided to take up fishing, and we were fishing, and we're getting these trout, and I'm feeding them to my kids. Turns out my kids they don't like fish, so I went to a friend of mine and I said, hey, they're not even eating fish. Any alternatives? He said, yeah. Have you tried cats? Cats love fish.
That's
I'm sorry, it wasn't as funny as
No, it wasn't.
But
I got it. But going back to my original point, what led to the whole thing is when I buy stuff that's too expensive online, or sorry, at like when I'm on vacation, it's so that I have the memory of the vacations tied to the item. So it's more of like a memory storage device. Like anytime I put that shirt on or I see it in my closet, I'm like, that's my Hawaii shirt. That's where I did X, Y, Z. So it's more of
Alright.
about solidifying memories
okay.
than it is about
Yeah,
something.
I get that. Yeah.
We do that with art. We'll go find whenever I'm traveling, we'll go find a street artist. Some guy sitting his butt on the asphalt, just like trying to, make a living, and we'll go up there, and so I have a whole wall of all the places we've traveled, and it's all just street art. Sometimes we can't find it, so we have to, go to an actual gallery and get something. But most of the time, whenever we go somewhere, that's what we do. Is we have the street art that's all over my wall.
We do sand.
Oh,
We collect sand from from
Monty
beaches
from
that
Kettle
we've been
does
to.
that.
Yeah, and the,
really cool.
the things that they're in are fun little glass things that we have. We also do it with mozzarella sticks. That's just
And you just have a wall of mozzarella sticks. Some of them are really scary right now.
oh no restaurants, but yeah. So okay, going back to
Where are we going back to?
We so
Journey. How long? have we been?
final thoughts. Like it's time to start.
wrapping it up.
Wrapping it up.
Okay,
We didn't even
that was
touch
good.
any of the.
No imports.
That's fine.
Done. So how many wheels are going to be invented going like in the next 20 years? How many wheel ideas, the reinventions or the inventions that are like, holy crap, we've been doing this thing so wrong or so inefficient, and this completely changes that. That was the concept I was going to, like the $1 million ideas,
So you're talking about reinventing things that have existed forever, but
completely like, so the revolution of the wheel, right? It was square and then it went to round, and that was like, boop, done. How many of those are going to come out in the next 20 years?
Okay, I'm gonna add a layer on that, saying in the physical realm and in the digital realm, because I think that there's
That's
Much more
vastly
opportunity
different.
in the. So I was thinking more physical, because I think digital.
So if you're talking about the digital realm, if you're thinking about the digital realm, like even if you think of the way that memory is stored, I'm gonna talk over you while you're trying to get yourself not laughing. So we have like NTSC, FAT32, and I think there's one other way that you can
Yep.
store memory, and those have like existed forever because Mac stores differently
Windows.
than Windows, and then there's one that works with both, but then you're limited to file sizes of 4 gigs, which 20 years ago wasn't an issue because 4 gigs, your hard drive was 15 megabytes. Who would ever use 4 gigs? And so
My first laptop from college, it was a promotional item that came free with it, and it was a memory stick this big, and it was 256 megabytes, and I actually saw value in it. I was like, oh yeah,
holy smokes, that's crazy. And now I have a thumb drive that has 256 gigabytes.
gigs.
And so that's actually what I store all the episodes on when
And
I take them
it's
home to edit.
crazy how oftentimes that's not enough.
Oh yeah, you can easily do that, especially when you're moving to 4K, 8K,
Yeah.
like things like that. Like you
yeah, and
tear through
moving
memory.
audio and video out of the film industry, and that because when you were using it on actual film, and now,
Right.
so you're capturing just so much more than
Mass pixels.
Yeah, instead of like, oh, I have some pictures I'm putting on my jump drive so I can go print them out crappily at the local
Yeah.
shop.
And now they're great. Like you could shoot 30, 60, however many megapixels you want.
So I would say in the physical realm, I think that there's how many? I don't know how many. I think the next big pieces are gonna be in. And
That's a good one. Yeah, what industries?
in the next big pieces, and I feel like I'm qualified at all to really
Oh,
talk
we're
about
totally
it.
not.
No,
I would say automotive. I think as
Automotive, I think,
we
is
make the
huge,
change from
right?
gas to EV or whatever else it is. And in order for that to happen, I think battery needs to change. Battery technology has been the same for 30 years. And until we have a new type of battery, like progression is going to be slowed down
Or
massively.
something that doesn't run off of an expensive material from a country that's currently being occupied by.
You're taking the words completely. That's exactly what.
Well,
I
they
was-
keep on trying to use things like carbon or things like that in order to move batteries away from like lithium and whatnot, so we can stop using cobalt and lithium, which aren't domestic things. But we haven't found anything yet. And it's so frustrating because like I'm completely like I have no idea what's going on. But like, come on, guys! Like,
Yeah, yeah.
you go to school for 8 years, do something with that.
Us three guys are like, rah rah, new lithium or
Yeah,
whatever.
whatever it is.
Energy. I think energy is a huge one. I think the cold fusion, the fusion
that
just happened. Not to date this podcast, but the fusion breakthrough that happened. I think that's a huge breakthrough.
You know, I heard it made all these waves, and then like I've heard
Died out.
nothing about it.
Has it been 6 months? Conspiracy.
I don't know how many months it's been.
I don't know. I don't
I
think
just remember that like everyone was like, "We have fusion."
Yeah, we did it.
and then
You did it, yes, but you have to look at it on a large scale commercialization, and you have to look at the idea that, yeah, great, they did it, but it cost them how many? $3, $4, $5 billion to,
And what, 4 decades?
yeah, to come out with this much more than they put in.
Yeah.
And it's like, you couldn't go build a residential power plant that does that by dumping $4 billion, and you can burn a lot of
Yeah.
coal for $4 billion.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, you have to burn like 4 million pounds of coal, and then you can start the fusion reactor. Then after that, it'll work forever.
Well, it's like the EVs that are charged by diesel generators.
Or
Yep.
my favorite was there was one in Virginia where like the city council was like pushing like we just installed a charger for it and everything. What is our grid powered by? Coal.
Coal. It's
So
the
you're having
dirtiest thing ever.
a coal powered car. You're just adding an extra step, but no. But yeah, so I don't know. I just wish that I'd hear more. But man, I'm gonna put on my tinfoil hat real quick. I don't know if we're making those kinds of announcements because I think right now, geopolitically, I think everyone is nervous
Oh, for sure.
because you have, I don't know if you've heard this, there was a high-ranking Air Force general who's like, you guys need to be ready for World War III by 2025. I want all of our fighters, like plane fighters and pilots and whoever pilots drones, able to like hit targets accurately in that amount of time because we may be at war. And what's crazy is that came out 15 days before China like flew a balloon over the United States.
Oh, my word.
So he put that out, and then the balloon went over the country.
Yikes.
See, so that comes. I think that's where our atrophy is going to end up. Is that any time that you go? I mean, you do have advancements because of war, right?
Yeah,
war
sure.
pushes innovation.
World War II.
But the thing is that most of that
absolutely.
innovation is behind government secrets until the wartime's over, and then what we just used to kill thousands, millions of people is then innovated in a way to help more people. But we first have to win the war.
You have to win a war. Yeah.
And
So I
so-
think that's going to curb a lot of our innovation. I mean, Elon Musk made this comment about innovation doesn't happen naturally. Innovation is because we went to the moon, and then we don't know how to get to the moon.
We don't know how to go back.
We don't know how. We forgot. We had technology that took us to the moon in 1969 up through the 1970s. And
Discovering the math and all that, reusing the old math.
now we
Using things that are dumber than this.
Yeah.
We went to the moon and back. And
I think
now we
nobody
can't
wants
do
to
it again.
or did we?
Yeah. I think nobody wants to pay for it.
Well, but we, I mean, just the scientists and the math. I mean, we don't have that anymore. Like we lost it because we stopped the innovation. But
Funny story on that though.
yeah,
America is kicking up their space program into high gear because China has now claimed that they're going to start mining the moon. And America's like, not before me,
Oh, my word.
not on my watch. It's time to spread some
an-
freedom to the moon.
That's a TV series. The Apple Plus.
Oh, no. Netflix has the Space Force, and that's what it's about.
Oh, my word.
And so,
Well, you know what? I can't sit here and be curmudgeon about that because I just asked how many more like major breakthroughs are we going to have in what industries, because that's what I want. I want to see that. And the way that happens is from pressure.
yeah, two countries decided that they're going to mine the moon, and so they just started doing so. And also, they
if
found
Russia
out.
didn't say we are going to moon, would we have been like JFK? Would he have been like, we choose?
let's do this for fun.
Yeah, right?
No way. No, there's no way we would have went to the moon if it wasn't for Russia. It was strictly to. We didn't. It's funny. We didn't beat them to the moon.
No.
And we're like, but we won because we put a person on the moon first.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I find most hilarious.
You Americans.
We
and
lost the
stupid
race,
semantics.
but we won the war. Like we literally bankrupt Russia from trying to have them dump all their money in a space
It's easy
program.
when your competition has horse carts.
Anyways, so yeah, I don't know.
I say we should close. Where are we at now? 'Cause we're almost. It's
no,
Oh,
that-
29:59.
No. We're at 56
doesn't mean
minutes
anything.
and 19 seconds. That's
Finish!
that's how much time that memory card and that camera could record for. What's so funny? I mean,
No, you'll see it in edit.
All right. Well, so Annette, bring it all down in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Chinese supply might be a bit of a challenge.
Go to Mexico.
Mexico could be the new frontier, or other Asian like South Asia countries that people are moving to, like Vietnam, Myanmar, Bangladesh. If you want to go stateside, you can, but it will take some changes. And I mean, even things like we don't even have the technicians to fix the machines that China has. China has all that infrastructure, so we have to learn all that infrastructure here. And then going into innovation, we could be forced to have innovation because of geopolitical conflicts. We could see innovation slow down because people are less, or they're not as loose with their capital, and they're going to be basically latching onto tried and true items. I mean, if we get into a situation where it's hard for us to get things like, food or energy, or it's hard for us to get like access to capital because we've got this baby boomer generation that all of us basically have to work for to pay.
What's
going to
happen to all that capital, though? Because once all the baby boomers die and all their big bank accounts, like, does the government just like, thank you?
Part of it is that. Part of it's going to go to the next generation. It's going to go to the millennials.
Yeah, but the thing is that, like, as soon as you get past Gen Xers, you're getting a phone call. Every time you get a phone call, it freaks me out because the screen
Because
goes
it comes
blank.
up on my computer. I got it.
No. Yeah. You get that. I'll wrap up.
Yeah,
But
That's right.
so my point is, what was I talking about?
How boomers' money.
Oh, so baby boomers had a bunch of kids. Then you have the Gen Xers, which had some kids, and then as soon as you get into millennials, like the population has stagnated, and then once you have generational, like the wealth stops moving between people and generation, it needs to go somewhere, and pretty sure that the government will just take it. And as soon as the government has it, like, I don't see the government then redistributing it.
No, I see it moving down. Because it's like this. It's like this. So let's say that, I'm ancient, right? I'm super old, and I'm trying
you
and I'm trying to keep myself alive, right?
Yeah.
And so you have your retirement accounts, you have these things. It's matured over all these years. So as it matures, it gets to a point that you're 85, you're 90, you're 95. You've been spending all of that money. So instead of that money being sitting in capital accounts that are generating income, you're spending it to stay alive. You're paying care facilities, you're paying bills, so slowly that money is going down.
Okay.
So arguably when you die, it's not like you're sitting on this, Scrooge McDump lump of money.
Wow.
Scrooge McDump.
McDump luck.
McDump luck. It's
character.
filtering down. But then aside from that, even if we're still having kids in this country, maybe we're not having as many kids in this country, but you are going to see, if they are sitting on a Scrooge McDump luck worth of money, that it's going to get passed to. Oh, there it goes.
No, it should turn back on.
Is it going to?
Yeah, it's back on.
Hey. How'd you do it that time?
No. It
Anyway.
does it every 30 minutes.
I know, but last
that
time you had
time
to
it
get
worked.
up and redo it.
Like I said, sometimes I think the lens freezes. So.
All right.
But it's okay. Just for those that. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm lost my train of thought because I just got really pissed because the mailman didn't pick up our mail. They put a letter in our mailbox and left the mail.
Dude, oh my.
Nope, we're not going there here.
Oh, I am so pissed right now. I can't think straight. So, thank you for watching Mind Your Own Small Business. I have to go to the post office now. Watch our podcast videos on Rumble. It's on YouTube, audios, basically anywhere audio podcasts are available. YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Samsung Free. I don't know where else podcasts are. I don't know. If you go to our Podbean site, you can see a list that's really long. Episodes come out Wednesdays around noon. Yeah. So watch us, like us, subscribe, do all that jazz. Leave a comment.
Leave a cop.
Leave a comment so that other people can find us because it's hard.
Leave a cop at your front door.
But yeah, thank you so much for watching.
Bye, guys.
Ciao.
Pepperoni Tony says, ciao.
I'm telling you. I got a personage I'm working. I'll bring my pizza box. That's pepperoni Tony.
Dude, hang it over your head.
Oh, so you have pepperoni Tony.
Not just pepperoni.
That's just pepperoni.
discuss like how important is it for the innovation to be a privatization of
Some kind of butterfly.
UPS and FedEx. So
Baby, you
can't.
give
But it's the last mile delivery for stuff that basically no one else wants to touch.
you whip up my